want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
We now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Well, hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome back here to Maconi Entertainment, and welcome back to race number 2 of the 2026 McColl Shootout Series. We are here at the USA International Speedway for what is going to be a very exciting night of racing action indeed. My name is Ron Mullins, pulling double duty with you here, working the comms and the cams with you on tonight's show, with the boss man himself, Mr. Jeff Maconi, joining me in the announce booth. Jeff, welcome in. This feels like a pretty bread and butter combination on iRacing, but I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a blast.
It absolutely is. This is one of those combinations that most drivers find about maybe 2-3 weeks into their iRacing careers where they'll finally get to run the street stocks here at USA. It's a ton of fun. It looks very simple. The track looks very easy. This should be a very simple combination, but there is a lot that you can do behind the wheel to take full advantage.
Oh, absolutely. This track is one that has sadly gone the way of the dodo bird in real life, but there's a certain amount of finesse that you can tackle this racetrack with, and if you can, you will be absolutely golden off the back of the opening round action just 1 week ago here on Maconi Entertainment. We're looking to bring the thunder once more. Currently in the midst of qualifying, a reminder to those tuning into this series for the very first time, solo qualifying, so these drivers have the track all to their lonesome. No need to worry about the racers around them. They can just keep their nose to the grindstone, keep it at the barrier, and try and set the best time that they can. Matthias Lacombe is your current top qualifier. We see that driver in the 335 car, but Wally Wilson, the 69 machine, nice lap time from him to jump up to the pole.
A lot of these drivers do have real world experiences. We see Mason Culver immediately jump up to the top now by 0.02 of a second. But a lot of these drivers run together frequently. They race in real life, and so they are some of the top drivers on the service. Wally Wilson, known for his aggression, but is absolutely able to get the job done. I'm very excited to watch him, especially. He showed a lot of talent last week and was having himself a very solid run. Came up a little. Actually, did he win it last week? Now, off the top of my head, I'm questioning myself. He was up running at the front, dicing it up. It was a great race last week. Dustin Von Burkett, you can never let him out of your sights, but Matthias Lacombe is going to be up there at the top. J.D. Davenport, Carson Nagy rounding out your top 5 in qualifying so far as they are now hitting the grid.
Yeah, so let's take a look at your starting grid for tonight's race. It will be Mason Culver starting from the pole position. Wally Wilson set to join him on the front row. Matthias Lacombe will be in 3rd. J.D. Davenport will be alongside in 4th. Carson Nagy will round out the top 5 with Thomas Gibbons completing row number 3 right alongside him in the 10 machine. Paul Pepper will start this race in 7th. Next to him will be James Hartley. P9 will go to Dave Sharp at the start of this race with Carter Nickel rounding out the top 10, Jeff.
Justin Knapp will be starting in 11th, Andrew Castling in 12th, Nate Spinks in 13th, Steve Shaw in 14th, Mark Olander in 15th. Then you have Kyle Edgar 16th, Dustin Von Burkett 17th, Connor Fatico in 18th, Parker Traves 19th, and Joe Lawrence in 20th.
Yeah, and then looking through the rest of the pack, we got Ollie Ferguson and Mike Bentley completing your 11th row here on the starting grid. Jake Spencer-Walt will be alongside Dylan Little at the start of this race, and just a few more drivers left to go through. It's Hudson Nagy starting in 25th. Cole Ledson alongside in 26th. Todd Shaw will be in 27th. Alongside him will be Tom Gibbons. TJ Edwards will start this race in 29th with Don York rounding out your 30 drivers class here at the start of this race. As just saw some of the drivers completely disappear from existence. Hopefully we aren't having some major UFO events going on here. That would not be ideal in the slightest. But This is going to be a fun one, Jeff. I'm looking forward to it.
I am looking forward to it as well, and there are several drivers. What in the world is going on? Several drivers having some sort of issue. I don't know. We've managed to spin it before we even rolled off of the grid, but we're good. We're moving now, and timing and scoring is all over the place. That's why you don't see it on the side of your screen, because it would be flashing like a disco ball. So we see the 8 car. He's here. Aside from that, whoa, my goodness. We saw the 8 car. He was there. I think we are having some technical difficulties with the server that the admins are working on right now. So we will let them get that sorted, and we'll see how it goes from here. But that was quite something.
Yeah, that was the way to get the night up and rolling here. You know, it's funny, this racetrack, I've only broadcasted around here a handful of times. The first ever broadcast that I led, which was a USF 2000 race all the way back in March of 2023, was the first ever show that I led. I was terrible at announcing at that point in time, and have come a long ways since. What was so funny about that was me and my co-commentator were just, having our usual chat right before we grabbed the start of the show, and then just turned to me. I was like, "Hey, Ron, do you want to be on lead for this?" I was like, "Okay, I'll do my part," and then just flam through my entire show at that point. But I believe actually, with all the chaos going on, it said we got a green flag, but Justin Knapp is out there all by his lonesome as everybody else is down in pit lane. So we may have a restart of tonight's action going on here. We'll follow this for now and await further confirmation here in a couple of moments' time as to what the deal is at the present moment. Hey, got a bit more time to take a breath and relax. I'm thinking what could have gone on, Jeff, was we were meant to have 5 full minutes for that qualifying session, and it ended up being a whole lot shorter than that. It was only about 2 minutes before everything eventually just ground to a halt.
Yeah, this is a new one. When you are working with sim racing over the internet, things can get a little bit crazy. So Justin Knapp does have a 1 lap lead over everyone else, and now the other cars, some of them are starting to come into existence here. But I guess we can look at some of... Yeah, the whole field is out right now. Mark Olander is in pit lane. He is now out. This is... This is technical difficulties. It's not the fault of the league. I was a bit worried we were having production technical difficulties, but that is all good there too. This is just the reality of iRacing sometimes when you have tens of thousands of races going on every single day. 1 or 2 of them will eventually have some sort of issue. So they are getting a new server up, I've just been informed, which is good. Justin Knapp is having the time of his life. And we do have confirmation. I don't know if they want anyone thrown under the bus, but we have been told that Carson advanced the qualifying session too early, and that is seeming to be the root of these issues. So everyone in the chat, we can thank Carson. It's all gone to hell in a handbasket, except for Justin Knapp, who is leading the race with every single other driver now listed as out.
Yeah, this is the most dominant performance that I've seen in the history of iRacing events at the USA International Speedway. So here's this for an idea, Jeff. I think we're going to load off into that new session here in a couple of moments' time. We're going to take a break here on Maconi Entertainment, and our coverage will resume once we figure out everything, and the people who will be blamed for this get shunned in the way that they will. We're kidding, obviously, but we're going to cut away from Justin Knapp's track day. Reload in the new session. I think we'll be back in a couple of moments' time. Stay tuned, folks.
be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
We now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Go, man. Alrighty, folks, welcome back. We apologize for those slight little technical difficulties. I'm not really sure the best way that we can sum it up. Welcome back here to Maconi Entertainment and our coverage of race number 2 of the McColl Shootout Series here. We're at USA International Speedway, and we decided that the boss man, Mr. Jeff Maconi, was the bad luck charm. So it's now myself, Ron Mullins, and Adam Thompson alongside me here on the broadcast. So, Adam, we did not see anything. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, and we're now again ready to rock and roll for what's going to be a fun 50-lap long race here with these street stocks at a bread and butter combination here on iRacing.
Of course, USA International, this 6/10 of a mile long racetrack, famous. Unfortunately, no longer in existence, but famous on iRacing, free racetrack, free race car. What can be any better than this combination of racing? Of course, these street stocks that you see, you hardly actually really see them in the grassroots level, and they are such an enjoyable car to drive. I prefer the dirt street stock, but seeing them on asphalt, it makes it very interesting, of course, with the amount of cars out here tonight. Looks like about 30 cars is what I am seeing on the board. We are going to see some mighty good racing here at USA International as qualifying is underway. Joe Lawrence, a quick time with a 22.830. Kyle Edgar, a 22.843. Sitting in P2. Parker Travis, currently P3
that's
at
a quick
22. He goes quick time, a 22.787. And that is a great lap time around here as some other drivers, Dustin Momberket. I am throwing the wind at that one. And if I say that last name wrong, I apologize. 22.849 goes 5th fastest. So there we go. Of course, qualifying going to be awfully quick around here. Looks like most drivers have completed qualifying here. All 30 drivers have put up a lap time in their 2 laps. The only one that's out there is Connor Pretico. Is that how we're going to go with that one, Ron?
I will sign off on that. Well, not sign off on it, but just say that I'm not the one to sign off on it.
I love it. You take no responsibility, but all the responsibility at the same time.
Yes.
But qualifying all said and done, Parker Travis, your pole position with a time of 22.788. So very good lap time. Joe Lawrence will sit alongside him with a 22.831. And I would imagine, yes, we are. We're going to go right into the race here. 50 laps around USA International Speedway. And this is the lineup: Parker Travis and Joe Lawrence. Your front row, row 2, Mike Bentley and Kyle Edgar. Row number 3, Dustin Momberket and Connor Pretico. And then row 4, Wally Wilson and Ollie Ferguson. JD Davenport and TJ Edwards. Your row number 5, Paul Pepper and Mason Culver. In row 6. Row 7 is going to be Dylan Little and Carson Nagy. And then row number 8, Hudson Nagy and Carter Nicole. Row 9, David Sharp and James Hartley. Row 10, Jake Spencer Walt and Nate Spinks. Row number 11, Mathis Lacombe and Todd Shaw. And row number 8, it's going to be, not row 8, row 12, Don York and Tom Gibbons. And your final starters here, Cole Ledson and Andrew Castellan. In row number 13. Row 14, Thomas Gibbons and Steve Shaw. And Mark Olander and Justin Knapp will make up the final row here. And pace truck has pulled off. We'll get 2 pace laps here. Did I see that? Was I looking at that right? Is there a couple of different Shaws around here? I think there is. So we'll find out as this race goes on. 30 cars, 50 laps around the famous but yet non-existing USA International Speedway. Ron, it's going to be a little bit, I would say, chaotic for the first beginning laps here with this many cars. But in due time, it will start to single file itself out. And then, of course, lap traffic becomes a factor.
Yeah, once we get the lap traffic involved, it is going to be a little bit hectic here. This is a short racetrack, only 3/4 of a mile in length, so you're going to find yourself running out of real estate space really quickly here. So keep an eye on these competitors, how they try and manage this 50-lap-long race. Yellow flags will not count, so that's going to be a nice little benefit for these racers to have in their back pocket. But all in all, looking for some darn good racing action here tonight. It's been a odd start to the show. We're expecting some darn good action as we are bracing ourselves for the green flag.
Field through turns 3 and 4, 50 laps on the board. And we are green flag racing here on Maconi Entertainment. Good start here so far as they go down into turns 1 and 2, 3 wide, a little bit further back. But you can see Kyle Edgar, Parker Travis side by side through turns 1 and 2. Kyle Edgar just with a half a car length out in front as they go down into turns 3 and 4. Parker Travis, though, gets his nose back out in front. This time a full car length out in front, and Parker Travis will take the lead of the race from the pole position here on lap 1. Here comes the 19 of Connor Pertico into second, falling back down to third now. It's going to be Kyle Edgar after starting fourth. Mike Bentley has lost a spot and has moved down to P5 now. P4. Dustin Mombarket currently in P5. Now TJ Edwards making his way through the field all the way up into 6 and fighting Ollie Ferguson.
Chaos behind.
And we have one spun around, and that's going to bring out our first caution here at McColl. And that is
Paul Pepper.
The number 229. That's unfortunate. A little bit of front end damage as well on that car. And you can see some other guys with some damage as well. So, these street stocks, they're a lot of fun to drive, but they can be a handful. This is a bigger racetrack, and let's take a look at the replay. Oh, yep, just total carnage in the back that kicked everything off. There's also somebody back there without a front bumper, but unfortunately for Paul Pepper, he was the reason for the caution. There's the 91 of David Sharp, and he went around, which then just set up a chain of events that ended up damaging some others. So some guys going down to the pits to get that all repaired and get back out there. And luckily, because caution laps do not count, you can, unless you're in the pits under green flag racing here, you're not going to miss. You're not going to go a lap down here. So lap 4 of 50. Actually, no, looks like caution laps do count here, Ron.
Oh, that is fascinating to me. I was told otherwise. So the more you know, I guess. The more you know, indeed. Well, either way you slice it, that will kind of. Would you say that overcomplicates the situation for these drivers, or do you think it makes it a bit less complicated? I would say it probably overcomplicates things ever so slightly, just because you run out of time.
Well, a little bit. It depends on when the cautions fall. And just FYI, everything I just said about the caution laps and everything and not going a lap down, total crap. So get rid of that. Ignore what I just said. So David Sharp and Tom Gibbons all go a lap down. So because they had to pull into the pits. It looks like Don York, Paul Pepper is able to stay on the racetrack. He's actually going to restart 13th. So pace car lights are out. We're going to go green flag racing here on lap number 7 of 50. It'll be very interesting to see what will happen here. It's still double file restart. Everybody's got to be careful here.
Yeah, there's going to be
tough. Yeah, it is going to be tough here. But here we go. Field through turns 3 and 4. And we are back to green. Good restart once again for our front row of Parker Travis and Connor Pertico. And you can see those two side by side through turns 1 to 2. A couple of drivers into the wall here, but now Travis slides up in front of Patrico in the number 19 machine. Ollie Ferguson moving up into the 4th spot. And a little bit of bumper action there with Mike Bentley as well in that number 51 machine. Actually got him turned around. And oh no, Mike Bentley, you helped that situation as everybody tries to scatter. And unfortunate there for Ollie Ferguson, had a great restart and got the bumper fed to him and had some help.
Yeah, that's a classic old short track racing, boot scooting boogie. Let's take a look at here. Yeah, you can already see the damage. Massive moment for Carter Nichols. He was the one that was spun out in front of the field, and once that took place, it was just pandemonium and chaos breaking out a little farther behind. We're trying to replay this a little bit farther back to kind of see the situation that led up to this. There you can see the drivers really duking it out, squabbling up as hard as they possibly could. That was a very hard-fought restart for all of the drivers through the field, but unfortunately for Ollie Ferguson, he was the one caught up in the crossfire. There you can see the number 51 right in tow behind him, and just gonna see tap around. He's gonna go, and once he goes around in front of the field, huge stack up, massive impacts for drivers farther in the back.
Yeah, and when and that's the one kind of big disadvantage being in the front of the field this early, but not in front like the leader. In the kind of the second and third rows, if you get spun around, the evasive maneuvers that everybody has to do, and there's a lot of cars, 30 cars on the racetrack that have to be made in order to ensure you don't get wiped out. Unfortunately for Ollie Ferguson, that was not the case. Was hit about 3 or 4 times after he was sideways. So unfortunate there for Ollie Ferguson, and we'll get everybody lined back up here. It'll be another double file restart. I do not know, and this would be kind of curious to see if there are 2 consecutive cautions, if it goes single file. That is something you can do in the iRacing server sessions or server settings. A lot of times you do see that in the dirt world. If there are back-to-back cautions, they will make then that second restart single file restart until a lap has been completed, and that's just to get people racing and get the race underway. So lap 7 of 50, so we didn't even complete a lap that time, and it looks like we are going to go double file restart once again. Don't forget, next week McColl Shootout here on Maconi Entertainment, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously tonight, just a little bit later. But that's all right. That's what we love racing for. Sometimes things just don't start on time. It's all right.
Yeah, sometimes people, skip the session when the session is not meant to be skipped. We'll say, though, I had that happen with another series of mine. A bit more eyes were on that. Had a couple of hundred viewers at the time when they skipped the session. Half the field missed the start, and then they restarted the race, and then half the field wrecked. So, thankfully, we avoided that as we are coming back to green.
Green flag will fly here at USA International. Parker Travis and Connor Pertico out in front. Now they're side by side. Pertico trying to get way down on the number 60 there.
That was a red
and actually, we have a caution again.
And trying to figure out who is involved in all of that. I think they've potentially been... stand by, actually. I'm looking through, trying to pull the investigative journalism. It's saying that Parker Travis crashed, but it's also saying that everybody else in the field crashed here. So there may be some chicanery afoot. As let's take a look at it here. Just looking clean and green. It was farther behind where the chaos was going on. So I think we'll get a better view of it from the perspective.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that was 17 involved in that. That was Mark Olander.
So Mark Olander involved. That's a great paint scheme, by the way. Love the flames. Anybody who puts flames on a race car is immediately fast, all right? You remember those days in Pinewood Derby?
See, I never actually did the Pinewood Derby, but I did have a cart back in the day, and I always wanted flames on it.
Yeah, the kids who always had flames on their go-karts were just generally faster.
See, I was one of those boring children who ended up having, well, it was my motif for years. I had the number 2 on my carts instead of the number 1 because I didn't want to be too cocky and brash.
Well, that's unfortunate. We don't even get a lap completed there, so we will go back to another double file restart. So, lap number 8. So we will go green on lap 9. We still got 50 laps scheduled here, but there is a time limit of 1 hour and 45 minutes. Hopefully we don't have to worry about that. So here we go. One of the unique things about Lakeland and when this track was running was obviously the grandstands on both sides. You don't see a lot of racetracks that have grandstands on both sides of the racetrack, and definitely a track that's missed out there. So here we go. Field through 3 and 4 once again. Green flag will fly. And away we go again. This time, hopefully caution-free. As we go down into 1 and 2. Travis and Pertico out in front with Edgar in third. A little bit loosey-goosey. Now Mike Bentley, he's trying to move up the field. He's already been the offender of one incident. He has the bumper on Wally Wilson.
Oh my goodness! Who was that flipping in the back? Oh my god! Oh my goodness, that was Dave Sharp. Just saw him in the corner of my eye tumbling. We're gonna have to reel this one back.
Let's see. Oh, went down to the apron. Now it's 3 wide. Everybody stacks up. Oh, went hitting the tire barrier and went for a ride. And that, for David Sharp, is a very big incident. And I just want to now clarify again, caution laps apparently do not count. It's just that our live timing tower thinks they do. So, we are technically still on lap... We are on lap 8, I guess, technically.
Yeah, I think the, just see the background, the 20 of Mason Culver, just run the old Ross Chastain. Yeah, kind of similar looking race car, too. You got the black and the red, but, that car, not looking factory fresh at all. It's just no way to turn that race car. You know, actually, it will...
Just toe, man.
He's doing his best. It's okay. Not actually. It doesn't even look like he's turning. I mean, at this point, it looks like the steering wheel is kind of just like a vague suggestion anyway. So let's see what happens as he heads his way into 3 and 4. A wonderful glee that may go on here. What kind of turn-in shall we see? 2 miles an hour, scrape against the wall, and a toe it will be.
Well, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers back down to the pits. And they will all come back out. And yep. Yep. That's guys get a little bit too crazy. And what really started that is by going down to the apron. Do not go down to the apron in these cars. Because then the results with this many cars on the racetrack is exactly what you just saw. So, everybody just needs to take a deep breath.
You know what I think maybe...
It is a
Yeah, I'm going to make this suggestion here, Adam. I am going to say that it's been the cameras. They've been a slight bad luck charm. So, coming to this restart, we're going to switch to the drone cam and hope that it leaves these racers' fears.
Here we go. Green flag flies once again. Here on lap number 8. Again, it's Travis and Pachinko, your race leaders, and the much better restart this time. No caution has flown. Looks like the drone cam is working. And Pachinko gave the bumper right to Travis and sent him up the racetrack. Now they're side by side battling for the race lead. Here comes the 47. 3 wide.
Oh,
As they go through 3 and 4,
30,
and
no!
almost 4 wide, and they're the 30.
Oh,
The 30 spins
dear.
around, and we have another caution. JD Davenport.
It was going so well there. I thought he was going to hold on to it, but eventually the rear end just overtaken there. Let's take a look at this from the onboard shot, see how it looked from JD Davenport's perspective. Good view of the stacking up right behind, and then nothing he can do. Muscling it out, trying to rip the engine out of it, and unfortunately for him, gonna tag the wall. Thankfully, these cars are tough, so you can get away with it to some degree, but either way, he's had to turn that car back around, running in 25th, not the way that the driver of the number 30 car wanted to go through in a... I love seeing a Days of Thunder scheme out there on the racetrack. It's vague interpretation, but one nonetheless.
Well, that it doesn't look like too much damage on the 30.
Would a Days of
But-
Thunder ripoff be Knights of Lightning?
I was going to say Talladega Nights, but...
Not touche.
Oh, boy. All right. All right. I think it might be almost time for single file restarts.
I think we may be getting one here, because I can see the lights are off
I
on the
think
pace
so,
car.
too.
Yes, we are. So, Connor Pritko going to
Single
lead
file.
us back to green, single file for the first time of the night.
Single file restart is away. And here we go. Here comes the 69 of Wally Wilson getting around Parker Travis, and the 47 of Kyle Edgar trying to go along with him. As we go down into turns 3 and 4, Kyle Edgar looking for the third spot here.
Yeah!
Oh. I mean, luckily you can beat and bang with these cars, but that was very close. Now Travis down to the inside of the 69 of Wally Wilson, getting ready to go down the back straightaway. Kind of struggling with the race car a little bit. Kind of see he had to hold it down to the bottom side of the racetrack, which suggests that car is pretty tight. Here they go again, still side by side here for second. It's Parker Travis with just a nose out in front this time. It's still down the inside of the 69 of Wally Wilson. And the 47 Kyle Edgar trying to follow if Parker Travis could just find a way to clear. And it won't happen yet. Wally Wilson staying right there on the rear bumper. But now Travis finally gets clear as we have now completed the most green flag laps we have completed so far.
Oh, don't jinx it. Oh!
Good bump and run there by Wally Wilson.
Oh,
Moved
no.
Travis up the racetrack, and now those two are banging, banging, banging. And, oh, boy.
Oh, they held on to it. God bless them. Oh, dear, not
That
everybody
was-
is. Doing a little huge sideways run heading at turn number 4. He's lucky that that car kept going in a straight line. And all this, Connor Pritko has been able to drive off into the sunset as it's still pure pandemonium behind. Side by side, Kyle Edgar and Mike Bentley duking it out. Dustin Mombarak currently holding on to P4 at the present moment, with Wally Wilson now stuck on his outside. Let's jump once again to the drone cam and see these racers squabbling up.
Oh, man. Both Wally Wilson and Parker Travis had some great driving skills to save those race cars from going all the way to the back and possibly even damaging them. Now you can see the 35 of Matthias Lacombe And no, Matthews gets sideways after making contact with Wally Wilson. Wally Wilson's not somebody who's going to back down from a fight. And Lacombe's going to go way back down to 14th because of that little moment. You know, and that just says these guys are very, very close. One little mistake and you will be sent to the back, and you're going to have to fight your way through so many race cars. And we're only on lap 17, almost to the halfway point here. And of course, the 51, a little bit of action happening in front, behind him, the 51 of Mike Bentley, who was the offender of an earlier incident, now has Kyle Edgar, and we have a caution out on the speedway.
It's Allender. It's Mike Allender after a pretty rough start to this race. The Flames have not been doing him well, so let's take a look at the replay to see what may have gone down here. Immediately pulled it down into the pits, so let's see as he heads his way off in through turn number 1, sideways snap all by his lonesome, overcorrects as soon as he gets onto the apron. Around he's going to go. The apron around this racetrack is minuscule, but it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
Yep, just put too much wheel angle into the race car, and around he goes. And that would suggest maybe a little bit too tight, maybe. You know, and that's what I'm kind of noticing. Some of these cars are very, very tight, especially mid corner. You can see a lot of them, a lot of race cars trying just to keep in line here. So when you see a race car get tight, they're going to actually go get what we, in the road course world, understeer. So they're going to slide up the racetrack. And so these guys are really kind of working the steering wheel a little bit too much. And that is a result of what an overly tight race car can do. So gotta be cautious of that. So we will line everybody back up here. Probably single file restart. Not sure. Could be double file for all we know.
Yeah, had the longest green flag run, so maybe it's given enough of these racers some hope to get a double file restart. We still have 30 laps left to go here in this race, and talking about the amount of time that we have exhausted here. Now, I don't think we'll get close to the very extensive 1 hour and 45-minute limit, but we're still 21 minutes into this race already, so these competitors will have to keep an eye on it as looking to see the lights are out on the pace car and we're not going side by side. So single file restart once again. Yeah, I like this call. I think it worked out well first time around.
Yep, I like it too. Single file restarts, especially when you are on a little bit of a time crunch. You don't want to have a race go on forever. At some point, the checker flag does need to fall. So here we go. Pace car will pull in here. We're going to go back green on lap number 19 with Connor Pratico, your race leader. Green flag flies. And we are once again racing here at USA International Speedway. This time, Connor Nagy, who is in 5th, has gained 9 spots. Also, you got to look out for Cole Ledson, who is up 16 spots. He's in 9th place right now, going for hard charger, pretty much going from the back to the front. Well, got some guys getting a little bit loosey-goosey on the corner exit here, but keeping it steady. And look at that. It's our 2 favorite drivers. It's Wally Wilson in the 69 and Parker Travis. Here we go.
As we're under yellow again.
I would imagine somebody's going to get the bumper. Someone's going to get the bumper, and we have a caution.
It may have been Gibbons, potentially, seeing that he came into the pits. Oh, it was right in front of him. Oh, my goodness. Big stack up. See the 12 car involved in that as well. That right there was James Hartley. So we'll reel it back one more time, try and figure out what the case was with Hartley and all those racers at the epicenter of that chaos and craziness. Oh, golly. So it started even farther up the road from that, the 53. Was that the 53? Yes, it was a 53. I got distracted there. I thought it was a 52. Who was involved in that, but was not the main driver. That got caught out massively in that incident. So that was the 53 of Don York. And then from there, chaos going on. I believe Mathis Lacombe also got a piece of that drama as well. I'll reel it back a little bit farther to see what caused these two to run into trouble. Side by side off through turn number 1, onto the back straightaway, just sandwiching them up there, really nothing that you could do, and oh, bang, drivers arc breaking it into the turn, really nothing that they could do there.
Oh, boy. All right, boys, time to start playing nice.
If you cause one more yellow, I'm going to turn back around and we can go home instead of going down to the shore.
I feel like we just had a Ron memory there.
Would you like to hear a good little memory of me going down to the shore as a child?
After we go green.
Touche. Touche. We do have the lights out on the base car. The yellows have been very brief here tonight. The yin with the yang of the green flag runs being brief as well.
Well, that's always good. I like quickness. Quickness in racing is always a very good thing. So pace car will pull off this time. We're going to go back green on lap 23, single file restart.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag. And away we go. Oh, we're on lap 21 this time. So we didn't even make it we only made it a couple of laps from the following restart here. So Connor Pertico out in front with Kyle Edgar in tow. It actually, our timing graphic is all messed up here. It says Mathis Lacombe, Carter Nicole, Don York, Nate Spinks, Paul Pepper are all out in front. There we go.
Right down the elevator.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, a little bit of
WD-40.
That's all we needed. Just and then they're back down. So we're back up and rolling. We're good to go. Pratico, really the dominant driver throughout this race. Haven't had too many drivers rattle his cage, as the cage rattling has just been going on behind once more. Don York has run into trouble, and he was joined in that, I believe, by Carter Nichols. So those two nose to tail, 53 and 52. Let's roll up the replay, run it back a bit here. I think Sprinks may have gotten involved in this, as, oh dear. Oh, that was ugly.
I like his team name, Left Turn Only Motorsports. Love it.
It's one of the longest.
That time he was turning right.
Yeah, that's a problem. As soon as he turned right, the setup couldn't really handle it. And oh, wow, okay. Hold on to that replay a little bit longer. And Carter Nickel, let's reel this one back. That looked very clumsy indeed. Let's take a look at the flag stance perspective of this here, so you can see. What? That's all I got. Carter Nickel has now been disqualified, and I wonder if that was. I'm going to do a little bit of investigative journalism here, Adam. So we'll try and figure out what the deal is here. I'm going to check to see whether or not that may have been a penalty issued at in sim or in real life. So we'll take a look at the Maconi view of this racetrack, as you can see right there, and have a sneaking suspicion that's about as slick as 80 grit sandpaper. You can tell what I'm doing through the graphics, so we'll just block those away. Didn't see whether or not that was a penalty made by race control or not. But you know, there's been I'm not really sure what to say about that. So we'll swiftly and abruptly move on. So Carter Nickel out of this race. But as I was saying before we got there, Connor Pritko's been running smooth and running in the fast lane, but now he's got some trouble. Kyle Edgar gonna be restarting on the outside of him with that rather janky looking Cars car, Lightning McQueen mobile.
Well, here we go, back to green. Everybody following suit. Down in the turns 1 and 2. This was a double file restart. 3 wide further back.
Oh, 3
And now
wide.
here comes the 16. Coming through. That's Dustin Mombercat. And can make the move stick. Connor Petico defending well.
In trouble behind to bring us under
And-
yellow once again.
Another caution before the halfway point. Da, 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 da.
I think it may have been Dave Sharp
See,
this
as a-
time. Oh, he's already slow. No indication of an incident here. Or at least nothing marked off as a crash, although that was definitely a little bit of squabbling behind your leaders. Oh, golly, they're 3 and 4 wide heading their way onto the straightaway, and then the yellow comes out. So a red herring, a mystery yellow that we've got at the moment to put the field under pacing conditions once again. Connor Pritko now pretty much trying to run like a standing start as they try and let the iRacing pace car go by here. We're going to ignore that the pace car is phasing his way in through traffic as it was so slow, in fact, that they actually marked that as a crash, as there's nearly a crash farther behind. Oh my goodness, there has been an incident. That's a 30 on the 82. No, that's not them. I'm trying to figure out who it was that was spun around. I believe that was the 96 of Steve Shaw.
Well, that hood is very crunched up.
Oh, he got hit. He got hit.
Got a little bit of help.
Let's see exactly what caused this.
Oh,
That was a 35, I believe. That was that was a toucher and all that. And you can see he nearly got clobbered a couple of more times after that. And we're about to get a restart here, Adam. This will be just around the halfway mark here in this race. It's been a hectic one for sure, heading their way onto the back straightaway right now. The lights are off on that iRacing pace car, and we're going to get things rocking and rolling once again here. Running on board and taking a look at the gyro cam with Kyle Edgar. Number 47 car has been up towards the front, but Connor Pritko has been the tour de force up to this point as the field heads their way into the restart zone, and we get the race back up, rocking and rolling now around the halfway mark.
here we go. We will go. This will be lap 24. The next lap will be the halfway point, and you can see Connor Patrico trying to get around the 47, really pinching him down low, and it looks like Kyle Edgar not going to have any of it. Here they come across the line, and we are finally halfway. We're at the halfway point. Here we go. Finally. It's only taken us 31 minutes to get to the halfway point of a 50-lap race, and we are finally there. So here we go. You can see Dustin Mombercat now trying to make his way through, trying to get to that lead to the point, and still side by side, and now contact. And you leave just a little bit of a door open, and somebody's going to fill the gap. And that's exactly what Mombercat just did there. But you can also see Mike Bentley. He's been up front all race long here so far, but just doesn't have the speed. And another caution flies. And the question is, TJ Edwards, what happened here? Oh, he just slid up the racetrack and took himself out. Okay.
Kind of like a rust chrome car. Very interesting. That car has certainly seen better days with that sledgehammer shot in the inside wall. So TJ Edwards taking half contention. We'll say we have had a fairly high attrition rate through to this point in the event. If we bring up,
that's
the
putting
graphics,
it mildly.
Yeah, well, you know,
that's putting it mildly.
if we look a little bit farther behind, Don York, who's running in 20th at the moment, has somewhat smooth go of things compared to other people. Mason Culver is out of this race after spending 15 minutes down in pit lane. We do have some drivers in the pits, though. Dave Sharp is one of them, along with the now wounded car of TJ Edwards. Carter Nickel, we saw get disqualified. Matthias Lacombe also ran into some issues. Mark Olander had a pretty rough race in his own right, but he's actually out there on the racetrack presently, running in 25th. So the Flame car is still alive, even though a lot of chaos has gone around. So that Flame has yet to die as we get a restart once more.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag flies once again here on lap 27 of the 50 scheduled here. You can see Kyle Edgar doing everything he can. Here comes Connor Pertico trying to go down the inside. Has actually a bumper on the inside. 3 wide as we go for the race lead. You can see everybody trying to stay. Oh my Lord. I just saw a literal massacre just happen before the camera switched.
Yeah, I believe Ollie Ferguson was involved in that there. Hudson Nagy just overtaking him. We're going to roll this back. We're going to take a look at the replay. I think Hudson Nagy was potentially the one that maybe started it all, potentially. 3 wide racing behind. Yeah, sideways snap for him. And oh my goodness gracious. Thankfully, only 2 drivers caught up in that. Sledgehammer shots for them. And Ollie Ferguson, not really sure what the beef is about there. That's basically the equivalent of hanging a guy for shoplifting, but I digress. So there we see him coming down pit lane. Damage as well to both of those race cars. We'll see this from Ferguson's perspective. Take a look at the gyro cam here. There's a 36 on the outside. Yeah, sideways snap at it off through the turn. He was already dealing with a handful in that race car beforehand, and then gets scraped by some drivers. I believe that may have been the 93, and like both of those drivers were upset with each other. That's of all the times to have beef with one another, it's when a driver has a sideways wiggle on the inside of you. We've already gotten a restart. Holy cow, single file once more. Kyle Edgar up at the front.
No love lost here.
Oh, no!
He gets taken out.
Oh, and that was...
by Wally Wilson.
Oh, golly. We're going to take a look at that. Such a long sideways snap down in pit lane that actually marked as him entering into the pits and making a stop. Let's see. Oh, Wally Nelson, that... Not really sure why he was trying to bark up the tree in the way that he did, but he went for it. There you can see swapping sides in the 57, trying to cover it off. Similar shades to like a sort of Joey Logano, Carl Edwards moment at Homestead back in 2016.
Yeah. He's running away. Oh boy. We need some cars tour rules starting to be implemented here. Too many aggressive moves happening. Well, we have lost 5 drivers in this one.
Yes, Hudson Nagy with a black flag here. Do want to give some love to our P2 runner at the moment. Dustin Mombercat holding on to a good spot right now, right in second, with Kyle Edgar being the hole punch as we bring the field back to green once again here in this event. Mike Bentley just picked up a black flag, so that's going to cost him dearly as he's side by side with his old sparring partner, the number 69 car of Wally Wilson. Keep an eye on these 2 racers if we want to see another yellow come out. Hedge your bets at maybe these 2 bringing it out.
Well, for Mike Bentley, he may be like, I got a black flag, I have nothing to lose anymore. And a little bit sideways there for Wally Wilson, still banging doors down the front straightaway into turn number 1. You can just see they're still side by side. Mike Bentley still has the black flag. And that could just be applied at the end of the race because it's kind of hard to pit under green flag conditions here. But we will find out here momentarily what the verdict is. And now Dustin Mombercat has now taken the race lead here on lap number 31. Kyle Edgar and Connor Pratico all out in the front of this field and actually have gapped the field behind them. Here comes Pratico. Pratico out now into the second spot, and this actually will help him out as he tries and charges down Dustin Mumbercat. We can just keep it green here, boys. Keep it green, as James Essex, the famous commentator for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series, says. And Mike Bentley still has that black flag, so I assume it'll be applied at the end of the race. You can see.
Nope, there's the DQ.
Nope. So he's gone.
Yeah, so that's going to make the other road ahead a lot easier for Parker Travis, who just got the move put on him. 57 now pulling it into the pits. A little bit too late there, but, you know, you live and you learn, as Dustin Mumbercat's still holding on to that spot, but he's starting to feel some pressure from Connor Pritko side by side as these two head their way downtown into turn number 1, and Kyle Edgar getting a fantastic world-class view of this.
Mumbercat on that outside line, and here comes the 47 trying to make it 3 wide, and it looks like Kyle Edgar going to shove the 19 up the racetrack. Here comes Mumbercat. Now they're 3 wide down the front straightaway with Mumbercat down the inside. Connor Pacheco was the one that was held out to dry there, and now everybody trying to make it through again, 3 wide. As they go down the back straightaway, who is going to blink here first? Who's going to make a mistake? Right now, Connor Pacheco has played it perfectly, but got a little bit sideways off the bumper of Kyle Edgar.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had some help there. Whoa, Jackson, he fought for it down the inside. Edgar tries to get the spot. It works out well, but Connor Pacheco not going to be happy about that as Parker Travis now jumping his way into second because of that.
You got to remember, Parker Travis had to go to the back of the pack because he and Wally Wilson got into it, and he got massively sideways, but unfortunately couldn't save it in time and was pretty much had to go way back and now has made his way forward here. So we approach now lap number 38 of the scheduled 50. Kyle Edgar, your race leader. Mumbercat and Pacheco side by side through turns 1 and 2. You can see Parker Travis, he does not want to give up the spots here because has worked his tail off to get here. You can see now the pack is starting to reform back up here. A lot of cars in the lead group battle. Just a matter of who, if or when, makes a mistake. And now here comes Parker Travis. He's able to get down the inside of Kyle Edgar. They're side by side, 2 by 2 as they go through turns 3 and 4 here. Parker Travis has a nose out in front, and Parker Travis is going to won't be the race leader as a caution once again appears with 11 laps to go. What happened here?
York, who had this involved, and yes, it was. And the 31, that wasn't even like a full-on assist. That was basically a cheat sheet that Jake Spencer Walt gave there. Let's take a look at that from Walt's perspective, heading downtown into turn number 3 and 4, and yeah, that's about as cut and dry as it gets. Putting us under yellow once again here, seeing some drivers come down pit lane. You can see a flood of racers, in fact, trundling into the pits. Gotta wonder how the fuel situation is in these cars. They've got to be running out, or at least darn near close to it.
Most of the time, these kinds of cars they have a pretty large fuel cell, so.
Oh, even still, I think, I mean, how many laps do you think they're pushing at this point in this race between green and yellow? Obviously, the yellows have kind of outweighed the green, but I feel like they're starting to push certainly probably past lap 80, maybe even close to 90, or potentially in the hundreds at this point. So I can imagine the fuel is quite light at the present moment. Still, I mean, only a handful of laps left to go. You got to keep that in mind. But regardless, I think the fuel may be something that we have to consider come time for the end of this race, Adam, at the very least for some.
Well, here we go. We're going to line everybody back up, and we're going to go back racing, double file, or restart. Again, it's 11 laps to go, I think, when the caution came out.
Yeah, unfortunately, our graphics not really equipped for the challenge, but you know we can still keep tabs of it. Certainly, a decent amount of racing action left to go for these competitors. And I gotta say, for these top four, I think they may be in a battle all of their own because they've been the tours of force throughout this race. But keep an eye on Carson Nagy and Wally Wilson. They are right there behind in 5th and 6th. They're gonna look to try and stick their nose into this fight as well.
Here we go.
Green, green, green.
Green flag flies. You can see the flashes of the cameras in the grandstand, and away we go.
Black flag a little bit farther behind for Don York. That's going to hurt his chances as side by side right behind your race leader of Edgar. That's nearly going to end in disaster. The 16 going to get the old boot scooting boogie headed off into turn number 3. He gets sent up nearly into the fence. He was having a good race. Nope, he's sent back to hell in P8. Now you got to wonder about these battles farther up the road. It was Connor Pritko, the one that was giving him the bumper into the turn, but in all that, he has lost touch of the front two ever so slightly. Still there to pounce, but may need to work out a bit more than he was probably expecting to.
Well, everybody now trying to figure it out. We have 10 laps officially. Go down 9 laps to go. Can we get there? Can we figure out a way to get to the checkered flag without expiring time? We still have just under an hour. But here comes Parker Travis, who has had to work his butt off all race long. He is now out in front by just a half a car length. Can he clear the 47? No, he cannot. The 47 still right there on the back bumper, but no. Ends up tucking in behind through 1 and 2 now. Parker Travis, Kyle Edgar, and here comes Connor Pratico. He's trying to get back to the front. Everybody trying to win this one here tonight as a caution falls once again.
And hearing that it was Paul Pepper and Hudson Nagy running into trouble, let's take a look at it here, following the perspective of Pepper. And, yep, that's pretty much as flat out as it goes. And I think Hudson Nagy may have had a similar instance in a different part of the racetrack. That's a sideways snap heading out turn number 4, and he just decided to end his night in spectacular fashion. Hear that, folks? That sound of metal snapping, that was an engine blowing up. This has been a nutty one, Adam.
Yep. That is... We'll use that term.
That you can confirm. Nutty it indeed has been, but you know, in the racing that we have gone, it's been some, you know, bare knuckle fists more often than not. But the bare knuckle fist fights that haven't resulted in somebody being dragged off to the hospital, they've been pretty entertaining to watch. I gotta give my praises to some of these racers up at the front. They have been running each other around like rag dolls sometimes, but when they keep it clean, it is really exciting to keep a look at for. As the lights are out on the iRacing pace car, we're gonna have a restart with a single-digit amount of laps left to go. Parker Travis, Kyle Edgar gonna make up your front rows. We're back to green.
Green flag, green flag.
Parker Travis out in front once again as we have 7 laps to go. You can see the flashing lights of the virtual crowd on hand here at USA International Speedway. The race is still on for up front. Look at Joe Lawrence up to P4 after an earlier incident, down 2 spots from their qualifying position,
Yellow flag is out.
but has made their way forward. That is a heck of a drive to be able to get through, and we have another caution. Justin Knapp brings out the caution, also has a black flag.
Oh, as it
What
started
has
a little bit
happened
farther up
tonight?
the road there. I can see the 14 was collected in that as well. So Cole Ledson was where this incident kind of had its initial spark, and then from there just snowballed out of control. We'll take a look at this, trying to follow Ledson and his perspective through the chaos. Is heading on to the start-finish stretch. Contact made with a car on the high side, and just spinning him around the whole serpentine motion there, as that was a 116. 110, pardon me. That was Tom Gibbons trying to avoid contact there on the inside line, as everybody else piling into one another farther up the track as drivers try to turn back around in the right direction. We're pushing now into the 50-minute mark of this race, but we are pushing lap 50, and once we grab that white flag, we'll have a race on our hands. And gotta say, here, Adam, I am not sure who's going to be able to grab the W. Pritko and Travis have been looking to peak at the right time, but Kyle Edgar really fast. And as you mentioned right before that last restart, Joe Lawrence really peaking at the right time of that number 78 machine. So this is going to be a very hotly contested race win, I'm sure of it.
Well, it's going to be contested, all right. It's also going to be probably chaotic from this point forward. Pace truck or pace car will pull in this time. We're about to go green flag racing with 5 laps to go. Yep, that is it. 5 laps to go here. A 5-lap dash for the race win. Parker Travis, good restart, gets back out in front in clean air. He'll take it to the high side and sweep it down low. And you can see side by side between Kyle Edgar and Connor Pertico. Pertico trying everything he can to get out in front. Parker Travis trying to hold on to the race lead, as now we have 4 laps to go here on Maconi Entertainment for the McColl Street Stock Series. And you can see everybody, they want to win this. Joe Lawrence is in the mix.
Oh, trouble behind JD Davenport this time. He's run into some trouble. There you can see that car broken off left front wheel. More drivers piled into it as the caution flag came out. We'll take a look at the replay. Already battered and bruised is the front end of that number 30, but the 31 car gonna strike once more.
Boom.
Big Spencer Walters.
Some broken suspension.
Major broken suspension. As take a look at Gibbons' perspective. He was the one that got clobbered, just barely there in shot. Eric can see a missing front bumper already, so that spells disaster. Then he gets hit, and the 51 barely avoids him, and then, oh, they kissed. Oh, how lovely.
Oh, that's how mini street stocks are made.
Oh,
mini
there we go. This week on National Geographic Race Car Edition. Let's take a look at the 17's view of this. Dink. That's actually no. Better view of this would be the nose cam. It's just minding his own business. Oh, a wreck going on farther up the road. Oh, I'm fine. Up, yep, up. Oh dear. And we got a restart coming up here once again. Parker Travis and Connor Pritko. Once again, your front row, this time with only a handful of laps left to go.
And Patrico, I think, jumped the start there a little bit.
Oh.
And Joe,
they all picked up black
he did.
flags.
Oh, everybody picked up a black flag there. Parker Travis picked up a black flag. Connor Patrico has picked up a black flag.
Oh, they've been cleared.
Kyle Edgar. Okay, they were cleared. Oh, man.
I was about to say, if this race had any more twists and turns, any more yellows like we just had now, oh boy, another run being broken up here. I think they may have taken the white there, so this is this borderline as to what the deal is going to be here. Saw the white flag call on my
There's-
graphics, though, so that is definitely a bit iffy because the graphics have been wrong throughout the night. So we'll say, I will say in confidence, it was TJ Edwards that did bring out the caution, and it was himself in the 17 side by side, 4 wide off at a turn number 4, and that's what happens there when you try and go 4 wide here at USA.
Or does not go into 1.
Well, you know, you
All
live and you
right.
learn.
Is that the saying? You live and you learn?
No, that's what I tried to apply in my time in high school. I'm very proud about that period of my time. I'm proud of that period of my life. I graduated in the top 100% of my class.
Oh boy. Here we go. We have 2 laps to go.
I just sniffed Pepsi. Oh, that kind of hurt.
No comment. Here we go. Green flag will fly. 2 laps remaining here. It is going to be Parker Travis. Here comes Joe Lawrence. Joe Lawrence trying to make his way forward. He would love a chance to win this race. iRacing graphics going crazy. Not sure what the hell is happening. Parker Travis, he's going to make it to the white flag. One more circuit around here, USA International. Here comes Joe Lawrence down the inside. Joe Lawrence has a nose out in front. It's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway. And Joe Lawrence with the preferable line. Parker Travis is going to need a miracle, but he gets the bump. And Joe Lawrence is going to come home to win this here tonight on the final lap.
Oh, it was probably the only lap that he led all night, but he led the one that mattered. Certainly some assistance with some drivers beating and banging Parker Travis behind. Let's take a look at that last lap, and Travis just getting absolutely shown the door there. So, I can't even say that it was necessarily any drivers doing that to him. He just scraped up the track somewhat and then just snowballed out of control from there. But one man who's very happy about that for sure, it is Joe Lawrence here. Victor here in this race, and he is going to burn it down on the start-finish stretch.
Doesn't matter how many laps you lead, as long as you lead the very last one, and Joe Lawrence just proved it right there. Went to the back early, had to drive their way forward, and got it done. Well, we'll take a break. Let me come back. We'll wrap this one up here live from Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
We now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
And welcome back here to Maconi Entertainment, where we just saw a last lap thriller that saw Joe Lawrence, your winner here on the final lap run. And there are the final results. Joe Lawrence, your winner with Kyle Edgar second, Connor Pertico in third. Dustin Mumber kept up front for majority of that race. Couldn't find a way to get the job done. Wally Wilson. Parker Travis, who was there at the very end, got the bump and run. Dylan Little in 7th. Nate Spinks in 8th with Jake Spencer Walt in 9th. Carson Nagy goes to 10th. Paul Pepper 11th. Andrew Kestelin in 12th. Justin Knapp 13th. James Hartley in 14th. Tom Gibbons in 15th. Don York in 16th. Todd Shaw in 17th. Thomas Gibbons in 18th. Mark Olander in 19th. Davenport in 20th, Steve Schott in 21st, Cole Ledson in 22nd, Mike Bentley was disqualified from this one, Hudson Nagy in 24th, Ollie Ferguson in 25th, Mathis Lacombe in 26th, Carter Nicole, also somebody who was disqualified in 27th, TJ Edwards in 28th, Mason Culver in 29th, Dave Sharp in the 30th spot. Well, it looks like we have some interviews here. We're going to bring in our race winner of Joe Lawrence. Joe, congratulations. And you are the perfect definition. It doesn't matter how many laps you lead, as long as you lead the last one.
Absolutely. That was a wild finish. Bit of a rough start there, but I think the guys started to come around there at halfway, which was good. We got some couple green flag runs there at the end, and those front. Once I think I got to 7th or 8th there, and I was thinking, man, this is gonna be a tough one here. Those top 6 or so were all so even and just lights out fast.
Well, you got it done. Obviously, some early trouble for you in the beginning of the race, but you drove your way back through and got the job done tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of fun driving from the back. I was pretty hopeful with this APC incentive that we'd get a couple more of the top 5 guys to go to the back and kind of get racy with it. But it is what it is. I'll take it every time and have some fun with it for sure.
Well, congratulations. Anybody you would like to thank for the win here tonight?
Just McColl Racing and APC for letting us put this on, and then everybody that kind of jumped on board to be a part of it. We definitely, for the first season of doing this, I think we got some gains and some knowledge that we can bring into a second season if we decide to, that I think will help a lot with the racing and just the car count wise. I think it will help. We got a lot of people in the show, and I got a lot of people asking to join, so we'll try and do something for that and just keep getting better with it.
Well, congratulations, Joe, on your race win, and on to next week.
Yep, final one at Five Flag. That should be a fun one. Hopefully, some good side by side racing there. It's a racy track, so I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. Well, you have a good night.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Joe Lawrence, our winner. Let's talk to second place finisher Kyle Edgar here. Second place tonight. Kyle, you were up front all night long. It's just unfortunately at the end there couldn't quite get the job done.
No, I'll take P2. Man, I was hopeful going into this race, but man, this track is so hard to pass. Man, it was rough, but hey, I mean, nobody wrecked each other, so it was reasonably clean up front till all hell broke loose on the last lap. But that's part of it. So we'll take a P2 and we'll move on to Five Flags.
Well, definitely really fun. You had to get your elbows out a little bit, but a P2 finish has got to feel good.
Yeah, feels great. I mean, I got to thank McColl Racing Enterprises, APC, Joe Lawrence for putting all this together. You guys for broadcasting this. I mean, it's what is it, Sunday night? What better thing to do on iRacing than with a bunch of people locals? So, yeah, we'll take P2. We'll head on to Five Flags and see if we can close out this championship. I don't know what I'm ahead by, but it's all or nothing.
All right. Well, congratulations on a P2. We'll see you next week at Five Flags.
Thanks, guys.
Kyle Edgar, our second place finisher. Now, our next one is our third place finisher, Connor Pertico, and we're going to double check the verification of that last name. And welcome in our third place finisher, Connor. Now, Connor, you're going to have to tell us your last name because we were debating how to say your last name all night long.
It's Pertico.
Pertico. I was totally off. But Third place, ran up front all night long. It's just you gave the bumper to Parker Travis there at the end, but unfortunately couldn't find a way to get out in front at the checkered flag.
No, it was a good race. We're just all going for it, beating doors and moving each other every lap. It was just fun and a good show that we put on.
Just talk about everything from lap 1 to lap 50. I mean, you were trying to stay out of as much trouble as you could, and luckily you did. You come home with a clean race car tonight.
Yeah, I got the lead pretty early and was just riding there for the first 20 laps, and then we had the restarts and stuff, and it brought everyone back into it, and then got put to the outside for one of them and just kind of battled back from there. But all in all, it was a good race.
Anybody you want to thank for this third place run?
Just Joe Lawrence and the McColl guys for putting this event on and allowing us to come have a fun race.
Well, congratulations on a third place finish. We'll see you next week at Five Flags.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, there we go. That is our top 3. And congratulations to Joe Lawrence on winning this one on the final lap here at USA International Speedway. Ron, as we say goodnight, how would you wrap that one up?
Well, certainly a wild night of racing action here at USA International Speedway. This track is one that, as I said right at the top of the broadcast, is a bit of a bread and butter combination on iRacing, but sometimes it can bring out the best and sometimes it can bring out the worst. I think we saw a fair mix of both of that here tonight, but awesome to be here on the coverage throughout. It was a quite entertaining night from some of the chicanery at the start of the show through to the very end. Adam, I think it's fair to say that we had a good time.
Well, yes, for sure. Well, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom of the video. Of course, next week, this series heads to Five Flags Speedway. When you hit that subscribe button, though, you can hit the notification bell so you know what other series are going on. Of course, the full-length Challenge Cup and other things happening here on Maconi Entertainment. So, for Ron Mons, myself, Adam Thompson, and the crew here at Maconi Entertainment, we will say good night, and we will see you next time.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
We now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.